Welcome. Today we're going to dive into the starting and use of the Alpaca Pilot application. Now you can launch the Alpaca application directly from the Inner's equipment setup, but that's not the only way. You can access it directly from just about any browser, and all you need to do is just head to your Alpaca driver's host name. In my case it's Nina01, and it will fire up. You can also type in the IP address of the driver, and that also can open up the application. Now you can do this on a desktop, tablet or a phone, whatever really suits you. Now I'll show you exactly on my phone how to do it. You just fire up a browser of your choice, and I've got a recent link here. I can just click on that and it's up and running. One little feature, you can see it more on the desktop, but if you click on the battery, it'll go full screen, so you can take up the full real estate available on say your phone. The other thing you can do is you can open up multiple windows, so you can hover on any of these links across the top. In fact, you can right click on them and open up a new tab for that thing. One thing you might want to do is open up the catalogue as maybe even a new window and have that off to the right, and your dashboard on the left allows you to easily do some quick searches. Rigel Kentaurus, our lovely star, and on the left you can see how you're going if you decide to go to that and navigate to it. Pretty flexible. Oh, there we go, back to the catalogue. So I'm going to go in more detail about the layout of the screen and some of the options here. So you'll see here this left icon allows you to expand a sidebar menu and hide it. When you're on a widescreen, it'll always be visible. These three items here, these tabs, allow you to quickly navigate between the dashboard, the connections and the settings. And of course the ability to search, I showed that last time as well. The other thing we've got here is a battery indicator. This is from the Polaris battery, not your phone's battery. This helps you make sure that you're not going to run out of charge on your mount before you finished your imaging session. The other thing to note is that when it comes initially, you may see this notice on the dashboard where you've got this pre-set up little flag, this little alarm indication in the state. It's basically saying that the observing site latitude and longitude haven't been set, so you really need to come here and basically move the pointer to your own location before you can actually take any action with the mount. But as soon as you move it, that will go away and you can start moving them out. Now this status chip up in the top right hand corner, it gives you the state of the motion controller in the Alpaca driver. You can see here it's idle. That means no commands are being issued from the driver to the Polaris. And so you can actually use the BP app when you're in this mode. It's not going to interfere or anything. And what I'm going to do is I've opened up the Benro Polaris app on my phone. I'm actually going to move it. And you can see that the current value, which is the white triangle, is showing that I'm panning the azimuth to the right, out towards the west, and I'm also going to adjust the altitude. But because I haven't actually made the changes from the Alpaca application, you notice that the set points remain the same and they're deviated from the actual value of the device. And when that occurs, you'll get an extra icon up here, which is a reset set point icon. So if I click on this reset set point button, it will basically tell all the set points to reline up with the current values. Now on these, I didn't show everything about these radial indicators in my previous video. There's this floating action button on the left hand side of the set point. If you click on that, it pops up a bunch of presets that you can quickly navigate to. So if I wanted to point towards the east, I can just click that and immediately go to an azimuth of 90 degrees. Really simple way to change that. Now, in addition to the slewing buttons, the plus and the minus, the other thing that you can do, which is a bit hidden, is you can click on the set point and directly enter a number. So I can go to 120, hit enter, and it'll immediately go to an azimuth of 120. So really flexible, and you've also got this floated action button on the altitude, so you can quickly go to 60, 45, 30, 0 degrees, and even on the roll. So if you want to re-level the picture, just come back here to the floating action button, hit 0. I've got plus or minus 45 here. I don't really know whether you'd reuse that much, but it can quickly get the mount into that position and orientation if you need to. And also these set points, they're adjustable too. When you're in equatorial mode and showing the right ascension, declination and position angle, don't have any floating action buttons yet, but if you've got any ideas of what I probably should have the LST as one of the actions for movement. The declination, I could probably put in some presets, and same with the position angle. The other thing on the scales, there is a difference between clicking on the scale. You can actually get a very fine resolution of where you want to move to on the scale. If you want to go to a round number, you can click on the label. It'll go directly to that round number. Coming across to the catalogue, I did want to touch on a couple of things I didn't mention, is that by default the catalogue is going to filter out any of the targets that are below the horizon. It recalculates the position of all of these targets, I think it's every 15 minutes, and anything that dips below the horizon, it was always below the horizon, they actually won't be visible on the list. You can make them visible by coming in here and choosing below horizon, and you'll get the full list of all the targets that are possible within the catalogue. The other thing is, by default, the catalogue is going to be searched with the most highly rated items at the top to the least rated items at the end. And I cut it off after 25%. I actually don't have, there's actually more categories in here in the ratings. The typicals are a large proportion of targets that have been catalogued, but they're not rated as high as these other ones in terms of imaging. These hard ones are if you're really advanced, and they're really challenging to take imaging of, and there's ones which are just not worth. So what I've done to keep the footprint small is I haven't put the typical hard or avoid items in the base catalogue. 500 targets, that's going to keep you busy for a while, I'd imagine. So on the right hand side you'll see the rating in purple. Now the blue chip is to do with visibility. It basically will either show the brightness, so the apparent magnitude, the categorization for it, and also how large the item is, and the combination of those two will always be shown in the blue chip. So you can filter by these as well. So the size, we have a categorization of greater than 100 arc minutes, that is. So something like, there's actually quite a few of them, like the Carina Nebula and the Large Magellan Cloud. They're quite expansive in the sky, and you can use quite a nice short focal length for them. Extended is any object that's got a size between 30 and 100 arc minutes, and so on down the list too. And the other thing with visibility is how bright it is. We're using apparent magnitude here, so we've called anything with a magnitude of less than 2 as brilliant, between 2 and 4 was bright, visible, dim, faint, and again these faint, let's get rid of this filter. I think we haven't got any ultra faint, we don't have any ghostly, we do have some faint ones. So we'll go up to a magnitude of around 10, which is pretty challenging to get on just DLSR camera anyway. And the other thing, this yellow chip is trying to give a quick sense of the position of that target in the sky. So it'll be an indication of its azimuth and its altitude, but in a bit more readable fashion. So you can see that this target here is in the northeast and it's near the horizon. So if I get rid of that filter, you can see this is mid-low in the southwest, high in the north, low in the south. So you can get a quick idea of where it is in the sky. And if you want to target something over a large imaging sequence, you can look for things more in the east than the west. If it's in the west, it's going to be probably setting soon. So you can do that. I've also got near zenith, any items that are up high above 82 degrees, we flag them as red as well. So unless you tilt the tripod, it's difficult and challenging to target things. And the last thing I haven't really talked about is this side menu. This side menu allows you to quickly filter the type and pick one of these broad categories of types. So if you only want to look at nebula, for example, it'll automatically pop that in there and filter on that type. The subtype is quite specific. There's actually a large, if I take that off, there's actually a large list of different types of multiple galaxies, individual galaxies, nebula, planetary nebula, and star clusters. I think that pretty much covers some of the things that I didn't have time to cover in my first video. One last thing I wanted to mention was really would appreciate any feedback on this new application. It hasn't had a lot of use yet, and I really want to know if anything is unclear or anything that you think should be in there, anything that's missing, please let me know. If you're trying to do something with the application and you're finding it difficult to do, and even if you got any suggestions of things that you think should be included, and someone suggested I should put the sunrise sunset, and I really would appreciate feedback on how we can make it better and meet your needs. So that's all I've got for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.